Welcome to One Topic, where we stick to one topic, otherwise known as potato sandwich, where we don't stick to any topic in particular. That is Autumn Fisher. I am Greg Russ.
What is going on? How are you?
I'm trying to scarf down this oatmeal that I made 30 minutes ago.
Ew.
I mean, it was
now
so
it's
hot.
like
It's
glue.
still hot.
Oh, it's still hot?
Yeah, it's very hot.
Okay.
It retains its heat, like the core of the earth.
Was the outside cooler, but the middle's still like lava?
No, the whole thing is pretty hot. I just put it in the microwave and cook it for 3 minutes. Around the last 20 seconds, it starts wanting to overflow. So I have to keep stopping it. Then I stir it. And then I do it for another minute where I keep an eye on it and stop it anytime it wants to spill over. This is my process.
I don't like oatmeal. It's too, I don't like the texture.
Well, I use milk also. So it's like Elmer's glue is holding it together.
Yeah, see, is that appealing?
No, if you think about it, it's not appealing, but I like the taste of it. So
Oh, okay.
I
I
try
sometimes, I have a texture thing, I think.
keep talking.
I have a texture thing about food. If it's too a fluffernutter, which is like marshmallow fluff and peanut butter, I don't like that because it's all too
I'm still here.
You're just trying to eat the sandwich. You know what I do like that I think
The
is gross?
sandwich,
And
the oatmeal sandwich.
well, no, because I was talking about a fluffernutter.
Mm-hmm.
Something I do like, which I'm embarrassed about, but also I'm like, fuck it, I really like it, is ham and cheese sandwich, but with ketchup on it.
Yeah, that's disgusting.
I know, it's so good. And
You're
then you
disgusting.
eat it with chips.
I judge people based on what they eat, and that's one of the most disgusting things I've ever heard. So,
You judge people on what they eat?
yeah, their whole personality. I create a list of traits.
I mean, I don't think that would be that inaccurate if you think about it. If you really did come up with like a system of almost like a horoscope, not like zodiac, right? Of what type of sandwich are you, or what type of sandwich do you love? It's like, oh, okay, well, that says something about you.
Yeah,
There should be like a weird Facebook quiz about it.
Instead of the star chart, it's a sandwich chart.
Mm-hmm. What kind of bread? The protein choice. How much vegetable you're going to put on there?
It's sourdough. It's always sourdough. The starter
Oh no,
comes
I
from
like
the
a
atmosphere.
crusty roll. Stuff like that.
My
I
starter
like a croissant.
comes from my porch.
The starter comes from your porch. Wild yeast.
Jesus Christ. I'm sorry for doing this. I know that it's just disgusting for anyone listening. I'm trying to eat off the mic.
I don't
but
hear anything.
this bowl, also, you don't put that much in, and then it expands, and it becomes a feast for, a king in his court. Could feed them all for days.
Uh-huh.
I also add chia seeds to it. Try to get some,
That's even more that's kind of nice. Yeah, the chia seeds. I feel like that's I think chia seeds are fun because you find them and they're like gooey on the outside, and then you sort of bite the seed.
I saw some dumb video online where someone dumped chia seeds out and claimed it was bugs.
Where?
Into like their bed. They're like, oh, are these bed bugs?
Oh, they were doing like rage bait kind of thing.
Probably.
There was someone. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Some people thought they were bugs, not bed bugs. Those aren't bed bugs, but I don't know what that infestation is. It's like they're fucking chia seeds, you idiot.
How did you know that they were chia seeds?
Because I eat chia seeds. I know what chia seeds look like.
Yeah.
I guess they could look like little beetles if you look at the
Sure.
husks of these things.
Mm-hmm. They do look like that. But he was just doing that to make content.
Yeah. If you want to call it content.
Yeah.
What a sad world. I need to post things online. I just want some kind of engagement. I don't care what it is. Rage bait's fine by me. Everyone talks about people monetizing it, but how much do you really? I guess if you're on a regular basis posting rage bait, that gets a lot of engagement. But in general, doesn't it take a lot to make some money?
I think you have to have 1 million followers, maybe.
Yeah, but then you get the bots. Like I was just 10 years ago, I filmed this thing in Arizona. Like we traveled the state of Arizona and there were a bunch of influencers who were on camera.
Mm-hmm.
And I became curious about their lives. It's 10 years removed. You know, they were in their mid 20s, maybe getting on their late 20s.
Right.
So I'm thinking, yeah, getting older now. And one of them, this one woman, I don't even know what she does. She poses in bikinis. That's it, in exotic locations. And people take pictures of her swimming with jellyfish. Like, apparently,
Okay.
this is a viable career,
Yep.
which good for her. But she has 1.2 million followers.
Wow.
But the engagement on any post is 36 comments, 3,000
Right.
3,000 likes. Makes me wonder. Are these bot followers? Are they real followers, but they just don't give a shit about you? You've collected them over the years, but they don't actually see any of the garbage that you post. Doing
Depends, right? Because
yoga
like if you're,
poses with your bikini on, your thong, so your ass is in the air.
I think if you, I don't know how this thing works. I don't know. I don't know. Like, I don't know if it matters. Like, okay, so this person's an influencer, and they may have a lot of followers, but like you said, their posts don't get a ton of engagement. So how does that work for people looking at them to pay them for stuff? It's like potentially goes out to like 3 million or something, but then in reality, only this many people truly interact with this post. So are they really worth anything if 16 people like it?
Good question.
Like, is it just followers that people
I have to
care
assume
about?
that the payments. Well, I don't. Who cares? Who fucking cares?
I know, who cares?
I was going to say I have to assume that the payments are based on interactions, how much engagement you actually get, how many clicks, how many people see the link for your what do they call it when partner post? Yeah, your full.
Oh
Just tell
yeah,
me it's an
because like if they're
advertiser.
wearing a bikini, then people say like, "What bikini is that?" And you like tag the bikini, and so then the bikini maker or whatever gets more money.
It's a weird fucking world.
It's so weird. It's really, really weird. I don't know this world.
Advertisement shoved in our faces around every corner.
Yeah.
Targeted ads. You look something up. I'm going to buy a gift for somebody who lives in the household. It'll be a nice surprise. And then they start getting the same targeted ads for the thing you were looking up. So it's not a surprise.
Dang it.
As soon as they have access to our brains, when people get the chips implanted and things are in their eyes, that's all you're going to get. You're going to be walking around, advertises shot straight into your cerebral cortex.
So I've been watching the show Traitors. It's really, really good. Alan Cumming is the host and he's incredible. Like he really commits to like the gravitas of this game. And so it's really campy and really fun. It's really great. But during like when I'm not paying for the ads, but when they come back from the fake commercial that would be there, there's a little thing that comes up and says like you can stay tuned after the show to shop items from the show. I just thought that was so weird. Like, what are they talking about? Are they talking about like couches that I could buy? Are they talking about the clothing people are wearing? Are they talking about the pictures on the wall? Like, what are they referring to? What can I buy from the show?
You have to seek it out. You're going to figure it out.
I don't, because I just go to the next episode because I'm excited.
I assume it's anything that you see featured in the show.
I guess. So weird.
I mean, we're at the point where you can just take pictures of things and it'll
Yeah.
pop up. Here's where you can buy it.
But that is kind of cool.
Yes. In a vacuum, it's cool.
Yeah.
As
maybe like for society, it's not cool.
Yes, and as an illustration of where we're going in our consumerism, the next level.
Mm-hmm.
It's the one thing with the tariffs that, I mean, I think the tariffs are absolutely dumb.
Yes.
Upending the world economy for what?
Oh, because maybe it'll work.
so you can crash the market and all your buddies can get in at a discount, and then it'll go back up and they'll become even richer. That's my cynical theory. I don't know how much I actually believe in it, but
I don't know.
it's a side effect if it's not the intent. You crash the market, and a lot of people who have a lot of money are going to say, all right.
But like a win-win, right? Because like, well, at least we'll make some money.
That aside, all the garbage that people buy. If it costs a lot more, maybe it'll slow that down.
Yeah, that's true.
How much junk we have in our fucking apartment?
Oh my God, I was thinking that too. I was looking around because, at some point I might move. I'm pretty sure I'm going to move, like after this lease period is over. And I think like, oh, there's so much stuff here. I don't want to, like the idea, like living in the space, it can be fine, right? But then once you're face to face with every item you own and thinking about having to transport it somewhere, you're like, ew, what is all this? Why do I have it?
And you live in an apartment. People who live in houses, I never understood.
Oh my God, fill their garages with stuff.
Basements. That's the one thing my dad is not sentimental at all, which I guess is a good thing. It's bothered me over the years because there's been things that I remember from my childhood.
You threw that away?
I was like, it's in the basement, right? He's like, no, I threw that shit away. Like, there's no attachment to it, no fond memories.
Yeah.
But most people, even if they're not sentimental, I think have a lot of stuff. And yes, the amount of things in this apartment alone, and I wish I could estimate square footage. I have no fucking clue what this place is.
I think, didn't you know it though at some point?
I could do measurements right now if I really wanted.
You can look it up on Zillow. I bet you it's on Zillow.
Nah, Zillow doesn't give that shit. New York either doesn't list square footage or you can never trust it. If you're buying, that's a different thing. But when you're renting, good luck getting that information. They don't want you to know that you're living in 260 square feet for, $2,200 a month.
Oh, okay. It's too embarrassing. They're like, you don't want to know.
That's a cozy junior one bedroom. It's like, no, it's
a junior one bed. Is that a studio?
It's a small ass apartment with low ceilings because it's on the first floor that you threw up a faux wall and then you cut the room in half. It would have been better if you just left it open into one space.
Yeah.
But you decided you wanted to charge more by calling it a cozy one bedroom.
I love the idea of calling it like a junior one bed. Does that mean it's like, is it a studio?
There's a space for the bed. A junior one bed.
But doesn't one bed mean that there's a closet in that room, and so that means it's a one bedroom?
No.
I forget what the rules are.
I don't think there are any rules. The only rules...
there's rules.
No, no, there's not. The only rules in existence is any living space, like a room, a bedroom, has to have a window in it.
Oh, is it window and not closet? I thought it was closet.
That doesn't matter anyway, because a lot of people still just put things on the market where this is where your bed's going to, because I guess they don't necessarily claim that that's the bedroom. There's just two rooms. And you could put the bed in the room with the kitchen up front where most people would put a living room because the windows are there. And then in the back, that's actually the living room.
Okay.
That's why quite often there are air shafts in New York apartments where you're not getting any light. There's just this weird little carve out in between the buildings. So you can put a window in there. And sure, I guess if you open the window, some sort of air is going to come in. Air from below the depths of the...
Yeah, what kind of air?
Alley below. The small space in between buildings wafts up into
that hot air from like discarded air from air conditioners or like ventilation systems.
Yeah, if you're at the top of the air shaft and people below have their air conditioners in those
what are you getting?
Windows.
What kind of air is that?
You're getting their exhaust. And if you're below, you're getting the drips of water. And you're going to get Legionnaire's disease.
How do you get Legionnaire's disease?
I don't know exactly what causes it, but I know there have been some outbreaks.
What is it? What a fancy sounding illness.
People in the Bronx.
It's like being called like Admiral's illness.
People in the Bronx a few years ago. And when I say outbreak, I think a few cases, not
Okay.
widespread, like the movie with
Oh, Dustin
Hoffman.
Hoffman. I've seen maybe that movie, not that recently, but a re-viewing of it from when I first loved it when I was younger. And man, it is pretty melodramatic and wild.
With the monkey at the beginning dancing around.
The monkey, and then like the little girl, of course, like it's so cheesy. Like the little girl's so cute and blonde, white little girl, like looking like, come here, little monkey. It's okay. He's my friend. It's so cheesy. But I still like to think of it like I love it. But I think honestly, if I rewatched it as like with new eyes, I think it was pretty dumb.
Ever since
Anyway,
COVID.
Outbreak.
Yeah, ever since COVID came, I can't watch Outbreak.
We know what a real pandemic is.
I'm traumatized.
Do you think we really are sort of traumatized by it?
I
Like
think
lowercase t?
in various ways, sure. Our whole
Yeah.
lives were upended. There's
Yeah.
some kind of residual effects from that. I still don't think things have completely gone back to normal. So anytime you're living a life that you enjoy, and then things are thrown on their head, and you've got people telling you this is the way it's going to be from now on, and you also have people making those decisions on their own. I don't know. It's not the same. New York doesn't feel the same. It's not as bad as Wes Moss used to present it.
Ugh.
Oh, I went to New York. It's dead. It's not fucking dead, dude.
Yeah, what is he talking about? It's a ghost town, he called it.
It wasn't.
Yeah, what do you even know?
It wasn't a ghost town. Now, since people are still working remotely, that's slowly changing. Like even I have to go back to the office 3 days a week now.
Yeah, that sucks. Why do they make you do that?
Because they have the space. They're paying for it.
Oh, right. Duh.
That's my reasoning. Though it doesn't change anything. People show up, they don't show up. You're paying the rent either way. It's not like people show up and suddenly you get a discount in your rent.
Yeah. I guess it's like maybe, do you think it's something about like they have to use the space has to be used in some way in order to like write it off? Maybe?
Don't ask me.
Yeah, I don't know.
I don't understand all the corporate loopholes of saving money. Could very well be something like that. But I feel like the write-off would be, we have this space, but nobody comes in, and it was an act of God.
Right.
So,
but then that's insurance, and then every insurance agency is going to cover that. No,
there should be less insurance. Like I only got 6 people coming in on a regular basis instead of, hundreds.
Yeah.
So insurance should say, okay, well, you only need to insure a few people.
It's very
I
strange.
don't think it works that way, but
no, it doesn't. But still, it's really weird. It's a weird world.
But with New York swelling in the middle of the day, million-something people coming into the city to go to work, streets are packed. That was a real thing that's never fully returned. Not necessarily a bad thing. Subways at rush hour so fucking full that sometimes you can't get on the train when it pulls into the station and you have to wait for the next one.
Yeah.
And then that one's full too, and you say fuck it and you squeeze on, but you've got no space. You're just shoved in there, and then somebody lets one rip, and it's the nastiest smelling fucking fart you've ever breathed in your life. It smells like somebody's been eating eggs and chicken and hasn't let a fart go in 6 months. And they've been breathing in straight sulfur. They have to get some joy out of it on some level. That sick fucking asshole. They must like it. They must like knowing that was me. I created this smell, this stench that is causing people's faces to turn into prunes, watching eyes roll in the back of people's heads because they're fucking convulsing. It's so smelly. That was me. That was my doing, my creation. What a great human being I am.
I don't think people are doing that.
You don't think so?
They're having all of that. All of those thoughts.
Why would you let it go then? Because you think it's safe.
Because I can't help it.
You can help it.
Some people gotta go.
You can help it.
No, I know. But sometimes you really, like some people, they really might not be able to.
No, it's a safety of numbers. There's so many people on this train. Nobody's going to know that I did it.
Yeah. So they feel safe.
There was what I just described. The chicken. And I know does chicken even smell? But in my mind, like someone eating chicken and it just sitting in their gut for a week and a half.
Sure.
It's going to stink as it rots. This was the other day. I was going into work, and this wasn't even a crowded train. And I walked right into it. I got on at one end of the car, and I walked down to the other end, and I walked right into the cloud
God.
of smell.
Yeah, is it getting worse there because the weather's improving? It's getting stinkier.
Well, yes, in general, more people are
Yeah.
coming out. The trash smells more in the street.
Mhm.
I walked into this thing, though. It smelled so bad. I was worried. I was like, is this coming from me? Even though I knew it wouldn't. And I was like,
I thought you meant you were worried for the person. Like, are they okay?
It just was lingering for so long. And I thought
Yikes.
maybe this was me. Maybe there's shit in my pants somehow that I don't know about. Maybe I stepped on some shit and it's all over my shoe at this point because this is not going away. And I didn't notice it because I was walking outside. And now that I'm in an enclosed space.
Right. But
This
you would know if it was you.
This lingered in my nose for the next hour. I went to work and I could still smell remnants of it.
Those
And
are
I
the
was
worst.
convinced
They
it was
stick in
me.
your nose.
I was scared. I was scared it was me and I didn't know. And everyone else was like, what the fuck is going on? It's like, I don't know. Maybe somehow some shit got into my underwear and I didn't realize it.
Gross. Do you think anybody do you think there's like ever a doctor on the subway and they smell something like that and they like, oh, that person has like an intestinal disease that smells just like androcardia tingus?
I think the better question is, why do some doctors get into that field? They do all the study, all the schooling, all the time, all the money. And like, I'm going to get into the digestive tract. I'm going to be the doctor that does colonoscopies. And if people come in with impacted colons, I'm going to shove my hand up. How do you get to that point?
I don't know.
I'm the one who, when they have hemorrhoids, and all right, bend over, spread your cheeks. I'm going to put little rubber bands on these things.
Yeah.
Why do you choose to do that out of all the medicine there is?
I think you start in school and you do all the things, right? Like every doctor has done a bit of gynecology. Every doctor has done a bit of something, right? And so you must start to like, oh, you know what? This is interesting to me. There must be some.
Is it?
I mean,
do you find interest?
No, but I'm not a doctor and I've never done it. Maybe if I was, an intern at a doctor's office, maybe I'd be like, oh, you know what? This is actually really interesting.
I know if you become specialized, you can make more money, but I feel like there are many ways you become specialized. I also feel like I'd rather just be a general practitioner. It's like people come see me for checkups and then I notice things are wrong and I say, go see that specialist. I'm not digging up your ass.
That'd be better than having to dig up someone's butthole. But you still go in their butt.
That's what I said.
I'm saying it'd be better, but you still go up there a little bit.
When?
As a as a doctor, like as a general practitioner, you could still like put a finger up the butt.
I've never made my doctor do that. I know I'm at the point in my life where I'm supposed to.
Oh yeah, when are you supposed? Is that like 40?
I don't know. I don't want to do it. I know, but you need to catch it because if you catch it early, it's a type of cancer that's treatable, and if you wait too long, it's going to kill you. It's like, yeah, but it requires someone putting their finger up my ass. I don't want it.
Yeah, but it happens for 2 seconds.
I don't. There's apparently a blood test you can take these days, but
women get their doctors are always not always. It used to be every year, but now it's every 4 years. They're always like fishing around up there. They're like, we have to feel your ovaries and we got to like push on your abdomen while got our wrist up in you. And you can't have like one little didge up the butt.
I don't want it. Like I said, there's a blood test, but apparently it can give false positives, so they still have to check it.
Oh, shoot.
So
if it gives false positives, doesn't that mean that it would give false negatives?
I don't know. I don't know enough.
Yeah,
I wasn't going to I wasn't going to make my doctor do that anyway. It was a nice woman. I was like, I'm not going to make you.
Oh, no. So that's interesting. So you would rather have a man do it?
I don't want anyone to do it.
Well, of course. But like if you had your druthers.
Yeah, I think it's in my mind, it's like, yeah, I'm sorry. I want to apologize to a woman for making them do that. And a dude is like, hey, you just have to deal with it. Because it's not
I think
sexual.
it would be weird. No, it would be. I think it would be appropriate to apologize if you got excited.
Well,
Then
apparently
you would
that
say
happens.
sorry.
Apparently that happens. And I think that's more embarrassing too.
Yeah.
If it's a
But
woman.
also, as a doctor, right? You're like, it's okay. Normal physiology. Whatever. They don't care.
Yeah, but as with a woman doctor, I feel more of a need to apologize. Now, I'm sure there's some guys like, it's gay if a man does that and you get a boner or you
Right.
jizz. It's like, it's not gay. There wasn't build up. It was just a reaction.
You can do all the funny jokes during the colonoscopy. Take me out to dinner first.
No. I think that they've heard all those stupid jokes. I
Yeah.
would just lay there in shame. It's like, let's just do this. Let's just get it over with. I mean, a colonoscopy, they're putting you under.
What?
Yeah.
They put you under for a colonoscopy?
It's where they go up and with the camera and stuff, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think they put you under.
That is so lame. You guys are such wusses.
I think they do. I've never had it. My understanding is it's not the full anesthesia, but it's on par with getting your wisdom teeth taken out.
Well, women get IUDs without anything, and the doctors pretend like it doesn't hurt, and they have to go through your completely closed cervix, and it's super painful. And they're like, nope, you don't get anything.
Well, you should ask. Maybe they would give you something like propofol.
Propofol.
Propofol. Wasn't that what Michael Jackson used to drink?
It was.
Like high C at night?
With milk. Because it's cloudy, like milk.
Give me my Ecto Cooler.
My creamy milk.
I just think of...
My sleepy time creamy milk.
I just think of it coming in a high C box like a little child, and he grabs it with both hands.
Yeah.
And when I think of high C, I still think of Ecto Cooler.
What wasn't it weird that Ecto Cooler was orange flavored, not the color?
Yeah, but it was citrus.
Citrus, yeah. Even though I guess that makes sense. What other flavor would it really be?
Does any of that stuff still exist?
The
High
Ecto
C?
Cooler flavor, the flavor exists, but it is not Ecto Cooler anymore.
Oh my God, they haven't changed this logo, and God knows it still looks like a
High
90s.
C.
It's like straight out of the 90s.
That's true.
With those bright colors and so much going on. 90s logos, there was always so much going on. And I know we moved into a state of minimalism, which maybe is overdone, but it's preferable to the logo with 6 different fonts. So you've got the brand name in one font, and then underneath there's another
shapes.
Yeah, then there's always these different, like looking at this high C, this orange blast, there's slices of oranges and whole oranges, and they're flying out. Way too much going on here.
Yeah, it's a lot.
And then you've got the faux. I've peeled back this part of the label to reveal. So here it says,
"Oh, that's cool,
100% vitamin C." So
what?
Yeah, I just grabbed the part of the label here and I ripped that off, and underneath there was more information.
Whoa, cool! What information did it have?
100% of vitamin C for the day. It's like, what about sugar?
Heck yeah.
What about the sugar? Does it tell you how much sugar it's got in it? How much sugar percentage of the day? 1 teaspoon of this gives you 6 times the daily allotment of sugar. High C, but it's got that vitamin C. It's so good.
That's good. At least it has that.
Did High C used to come in a can? I'm talking about a larger aluminum can that you had to use a can opener to open on both sides to create airflow. There was something. We used to get some sort of juice that came in what looked like a soup can, but much bigger.
I'm trying to think. Would it be the powder, like in a giant can?
It was High C. Here it is.
But it was liquid juice?
Yeah.
Huh. I don't remember that at all.
Make me feel like I'm insane. This is the true definition of gaslighting. where I know something's true and you're telling me it's not true until I question it.
I never said it was not true. Not once.
Not just, you're being mean to me. You're gaslighting me because you told me my hair's ugly.
Are you referring to someone in particular?
That's not what gaslighting is. No, just in general, everyone misuses the term.
Oh.
Now, if anyone treats you any certain way that's less than favorable, it's gaslighting.
Well, and anytime someone is trying to like understand what you're talking about and they feel like they're disagreeing with you about it, it's like you're trying to deny their feelings, and that's like not what's happening. You're just don't understand what they're talking about, and that's okay too.
Yeah, if you tell a person their hair is brown when their hair is blonde, and like, no, it's blonde. It's like, no, it's not, you idiot. You really think your hair is blonde? And you get them to question their reality. Mm-hmm. I guess when it comes to people's feelings, you can gaslight a person. They're feeling a certain way, and you convince them that they... Well, again, if you're just convincing them they're wrong for feeling that way, is that necessarily gaslighting? If you convince them that they're not feeling what they're actually feeling.
Right. Yeah, so it would have to be you said my hair is brown and that hurts my feelings. And then the other person would have to say, like, I don't know, how would you gaslight someone? Like, I don't like, no, that's not, wouldn't they be like, that's not what I was saying?
No, see, this is where people, you've already made it more complex than it is. And then people use it and they like to throw it out there because they pretend that they're well versed in psychology. Because I watched some idiot therapist on TikTok who, instead of taking their job seriously, felt as though it was more important to be a mini celebrity online.
Yeah, that is odd when that happens. Like, what are we doing? Why are you doing this? I want to automatically trust you because you're a therapist, and now I'm feeling like you can't be trusted because you're on TikTok.
That's part weird. Of the problem. You want to automatically trust them. I know that that's something we do want to put into people in those positions. Same with doctors. Sure. You're like, I just got to trust them.
Right.
So you need to go in expecting them, feeling confident that they're good at what they do. But
yeah, you need that.
You realize at certain points that these people made it somehow. They're professionals, but they aren't so good, and that's kind of scary. In general, that's what I figured out as I've grown older, that most people in positions of power and authority, it's like, oh, you're just an idiot.
Yeah.
How'd you fucking get there? And for so long in my life, I just blindly trusted that you knew what you were doing and you were doing what was best.
Yeah, that's how it works. That's how we all finding, like, being with Travis and like thinking about how smart he is and how smart, the people around him that he works with must be if they are, in this field. It seems like this is for geniuses only. And then to see how these people might behave, or even like to see Travis and how he operates sometimes, it's like, oh, there's a difference. There's different kinds of smart. Just because someone is really either trained or practiced or intelligent in this one way does not translate to everything.
No, but the problem is a lot of these people know that they're smart. So that makes it worse. It's like an extra wall that gets put up. Like, I'm very smart. I can't be wrong about any of this stuff. There's such egos at play too, which I've discussed before. Egos are in any field, but in science, it's slow moving and you spend your life dedicated to, say, one theory.
Right.
And then later on comes to light that maybe that theory is not correct. And you will fucking fight it tooth and nail to the end of time, even if the evidence is in your face. Because it'd be a difficult thing to say, well, I've wasted most of my life on this.
So I disagree. I don't think that people would be fighting just because of their ego. They wouldn't.
Are
keep
you
it
kidding
just
me?
For that.
You don't look at. Have you ever read any of these books about these dudes from Einstein's time and how they just went at each other? And no. I'm smarter than this one. No, you're an idiot. I'm the smart one. There were such fucking egos involved, and it slowed everything down. And you could
But maybe
argue
not
that,
now. Maybe less now.
I don't know if it's less now. They're people. People are people.
What I mean is the fighting about it just based on their wanting to keep their research valid. I don't know if that's totally the case. I think that there would be a lot of like, I don't know. I don't think so because and like they figure and they want to find out whether they're right or wrong, and then they have to put aside their own like confirmation bias. And they have to figure that out. But I don't know.
I think you're giving
like,
these people too much credit.
Yeah.
Because they can present it in an intellectual way. Well, we need to really look at all the facts are there. The facts have been laid out. You're wrong. Well, we need to look again and really dig
But that's
through
the thing. There is no definitive you're wrong and this is right.
Sure. I mean, there are instances of that, but I know there's a lot of just theories, especially in different fields of science. But
and then if one theory becomes sort of not, I guess, gospel, right? It's hard to go against that when that's how you've looked at everything.
I think just give people too much credit.
But I have met these people. Like there is somebody that, had a theory, a working theory for his entire career. And then there was some research that came up that would kind of negate some of that. And he, like I said, he didn't like the theory and he wasn't sure.
And what's he doing now? Drinks a lot.
No, I don't know actually what he does now. I mean, he's still working. He's still a scientist.
His papers were all discredited. And then because other people are tribal, like, well, that was the guy who got things wrong.
No, see, that's not what happened.
There are many factors involved in basic human nature.
Yeah.
It's the same reason you could be the greatest director in the world or a good cinematographer, but you haven't done a lot of work, so people don't want to work with you. Mm-hmm. It's dumb as fuck. I come across this all the time. We work with people who are very, very good, who can shoot things that look like very professional, very pretty, and clients like, we want a named person. Why? At the end of the fucking day, what changes?
Yeah.
And like when I say named person, it's not like these are famous names. I could understand that. You can say, oh, there's prestige because it's people that you wouldn't know. Maybe some nerds on the inside would know, but most people don't care. They don't know. They don't care.
No. But they still want that name.
Yeah, they just want somebody who's, well, we need to see a resume and we need to see. It's like, well, do you have examples of this other person's work? And just because you don't know their name, you can see how good it really. No, that's not what we want. That exists everywhere.
Okay.
Look, I'm not trying to dismiss what you're saying. I know you've been around it. I'm just saying, and some people are better at this than others, especially if you enter into the field of science. I think part of it is like I need to put aside my feelings.
Right.
And the fact that I'm a dumb ape, even though I like to think I'm the smartest of the dumb apes, but I'm a dumb fucking ape when it comes down to it. And I think some people are more able to step outside of that. But
I mean, it makes sense. Like I'm saying, like it makes sense. It's human nature to be disappointed that something you've, been working on for so long is now useless. Like that sucks. But like you were saying, it's you're in the field of science, then you understand. Especially like you can put. Well, I guess here's where I may be giving people too much credit. Is like putting yourself in the position of the young scientist who's disproving your entire world, and like how that must feel for them. Like that must feel very exciting, and also like kind of intimidating because you're going against the people that you have known for so long and respected and came before you and stuff. I don't know.
Can you hear this noise? Do you hear this?
I did. What was that?
I don't know. Downstairs, doing something.
Always doing something, that guy.
Twisting a giant screw. There it is again. Yeah, I'm just going to fucking do weird fucking work.
There it is. What's he doing?
I don't know what the fuck he's doing. What could that even be?
It does sound like a maybe he's just putting something in the wall, like to hang a picture.
Who knows what the fuck he's doing?
It's a picture of you. It's like, this
It's
guy, I
sometimes.
admire him so much.
Well, sometimes I do think he's got cameras and listens to us.
Why do you think that?
I can't remember. I feel like there was a few instances of me saying certain things and then him saying something when I saw him next time that seemingly
Mm.
addressed what I said, but it wasn't like that direct. And if me saying something like, God damn, he's making so much fucking noise, and then he texts a week later when he's doing something, is this too loud? And it's like that clearly could just happen on its own. And him not listening. It's not, you can hear. I think he thinks that you can't hear as much as you can because we're relatively quiet and we don't complain about his loud fucking
Yeah.
and his blender at 2 a.m. and his table saw at 3 a.m.
No.
Yeah,
3 a.m. he's using the table saw?
he goes down into the basement. He thinks that
Oh.
we can't hear it, but you can still hear it. It's not on a regular basis, but it's happened before. It's also like, what are you doing with a fucking table saw? Why don't you move back to the fucking suburbs? You don't. One of the first things he said was, I've never lived in the city before, so let me know. And I guess he put it on us. He put it on us to say, hey, your music's too loud, or your table saw is really keeping me from sleeping, or that woman who's screaming like she's in pure ecstasy. It actually sounds like pain. And it all sounds like an act, dude. So it made me want to get her under control. Tell her to stop. Just tell her, like, you don't need to do that for me. It actually takes me out of it. I guess some guys like it though. Oh, she's screaming so loud. I'm doing this. I'm the cause of this.
Ugh. Yeah, that would freak me out if I felt like the person was being really performative. But then it's like, how would you know? You don't really know if they are or not. So you're like, I don't want to mess this up if it's not fake. And then even if it is, they're not going to admit it. They're gonna be like, "Oh, okay, I'm faking it." It's like,
Even if she's not faking it, it just feels performative. It's probably
yeah,
still enjoyable. I'm not saying she
sure.
just, but
Maybe that's just her thing.
it could be her thing.
Yeah, maybe that gets her excited.
Possibly. I should start making more noise so he knows. It just blows my mind because the people who lived there before, it was two people with two kids, and the kids were like
Yeah,
7 and 4. And I didn't hear a thing.
that's crazy.
They were
I can't believe you
pretty.
didn't hear them.
They were pretty quiet. Maybe
But
they've
they're below
muzzled.
you, right?
Yeah,
Yeah. So that makes more sense. If they were above you, then you'd be dead.
the running. Yes.
Yes. Yeah.
So getting back to what we were talking about,
Mm-hmm.
I was going to say that the Big Bang. I
The
know there's
show?
still
Big
arguments
Bang
on if the Big Bang is correct or not, but the name, the Big Bang, was like the dude that came from the dude who thought the universe was like a steady state.
Right.
And he hated the Big Bang Theory because it was going against everything he had ever worked towards. And he came up with that name mockingly, making fun. Yeah, the Big Bang. And it ended up sticking. But, there's examples of this stuff where a lot of people, I think even like the age of the earth was always at debate. And what's the temperature dude? Kelvin?
Oh yeah. Uh huh.
Yeah, I think it was Kelvin who thought the Earth's age was at a certain rate because he was looking at the temperatures of the Earth, and other people were saying, no, this isn't what's going on, and he just didn't accept any other findings except for his own. He's like,
See, that sucks.
no, mine are right.
See, no, that's dumb. You're not a real scientist if that's what you're doing.
This is what science is riddled with, and you can, again, you can argue that it's good that it's slow moving. It's good that people don't just immediately ditch all their work and accept someone else's work. But at some point, if you're being honest and realistic, you'll look at things like, all right, I'm probably wrong here. And then, though, the other problem is if you admit that you're wrong, and then I think the other side, people be like, can't trust that guy anymore because he was wrong. He was an idiot. Never want to work with him again. He's the cinematographer who does great, beautiful work, but his name's attached to this stupid theory that's been disproven.
See, I don't think that's how it works in science.
I do
That like
think
you're not allowed to like, oh, we're not working with that person anymore. They suck.
that happens.
I don't know.
That happens. Now, there's certainly instances where a person deserves it because they're like a quack or something, and they're
Yeah.
pushing
What
really
was that guy that
dumb
you worked with? He's
Gary
putting
Knoll.
like air into veins.
It was ozone.
Ozone.
He was pumping
So
ozone
weird.
into people's bloodstreams because apparently it has antiseptic qualities.
Ozone.
Never mind the fact you're putting a gas into
Yeah.
people's bloodstreams, which
How is that? How does that
can
not kill you?
it can if you do it wrong. And the thing was, here's the thing with this Gary Knoll too. He would
Hmm.
learn from other people and then just steal their business. So there was this guy doing ozone who was really just a podiatrist, already shady as fuck.
Yeah.
But he had some level of, I'm a doctor. I still don't know how you get to the point where people are coming in after hours and you're injecting ozone into them and I'm filming it. And he says, make sure you don't get anything that identifies me on camera. It's like,
Oof.
okay, yeah, sure. Man, that tells me everything I need to know.
Yeah.
So
Did
this
the
guy,
person not think that that was shady?
the people who would do this stuff, I mean, you're
Yeah.
preying on a certain type of person
Right.
who's scared. They're scared of living. They're scared of dying. They're sort of like Dr. Joe, but worse. Like Dr. Joe at least has some grasp of reality. I feel like these people are very anxious on top of it to the point where they can't really function. And so you're like, I got all these supplements that'll clear everything wrong up with you.
Yeah.
You just have to take them
And
all.
you won't need anything else ever.
Yeah.
This
just come
will
keep
cure it all.
buying these things for me. And the ozone thing. So we go to this doctor, we film this. And then at some point, the people just start showing up at Gary Knoll's office. And this woman who says she's a nurse, I mean, she'd been around and she's been in his documentaries. Even if she was a nurse, at his office, which is not a medical office, it was a converted theater that had
Okay.
had like sea foam green walls throughout, gross old carpeting, dead plants sitting on the the window in the front. They would
Yeah.
just come in and she would just start injecting them with ozone.
Really?
I was like, what the fuck? This is insane. But he's the guy who pushed that autism's caused by vaccines, and then you would have this family that came by quite a bit, and they had this son who was very autistic, uh, needed help. Like he could function some on his own, but it was one of those things. Like this guy is probably going to need help his whole life, and I get it. It's tough, and as a parent, you're probably looking for reasons why this happens, and you want to blame
anything
someone
to fix it.
Yeah. So they really bought into he was fine until he got his vaccines as a kid. And then it all switched. But, through Gary's juicing and coffee enemas and things.
For the kid?
The coffee enema is more of a cancer treatment. It's not it's not an autism
How
thing.
old was this kid anyway?
I'd say he was 10.
Oh, God.
He was a very nice kid.
Sure.
His parents were nice, but you could tell they just couldn't deal with what they were dealing with. And I don't
desperate for answers or for solutions too.
Yeah, I don't deny that it's shitty and that it's a difficult thing to deal with. But Gary Knoll's not going to fix you. He's taking your fucking money.
Yeah.
He's taking it.
What kind of doctor was he?
It's shady as fuck. He got his doctorate, but I think it was like an online school.
Oh, okay.
Was it an accredited school? I don't know.
All right, but doctorate is different. Like he got his MD.
That's the thing. I don't think he was a medical doctor.
Oh, God.
He's a nutritionist.
Yeah.
And I could never figure out how much does he
Dr.
believe.
Joe is a nutritionist too.
Yeah, how much does he believe and how much is he snake oil salesman? Does he know? Like he is a snake oil salesman, but does he know he is? Or does he actually buy into this stuff? And his whole career was dedicated early on to juicing and, healthier diets and raw foods. And he was ahead of the curve on that. As I mentioned, he was on the Tonight Show with Johnny Carson. At one point, he was on with Regis Philbin. He apparently, because he had a radio show in New York that went on for decades. And I heard Yoko Ono and John Lennon got into his juicing and he helped get them on a routine. And all that stuff's fine, but then it turns into HIV
Those
doesn't
two
cause
marks when it comes to like anything health related or spirituality or whatever.
all this evolves eventually into HIV is not caused by, or AIDS isn't caused by HIV. HIV is a
Yeah.
creation from the pharma companies. And he says things that aren't necessarily like that's very wrong, but also it gets you to question pharmaceutical companies and not trust
Mm-hmm.
them. It's like, yeah, you're right. We shouldn't. So he,
Right. There can be some validity to approaching something that is taken for granted as the truth or the best. It's fine to ask, to be skeptical possibly, or just to use your brain, but to take it there that, you know, HIV and AIDS, get out of here.
there have to be actual afflictions where you can look at this and say, look, this is overtreated. There's a better way
Right.
to treat this. Big pharma just wants to pump you full of drug. That exists on many levels.
Sure.
So why do you choose things like cancer? Like,
Because people are desperate and upset
I know they're
and
desperate.
want anything. It's like the Man on the Moon movie where he like believed that if they, you know, take whatever, if they do that magic trick where like that guy does surgery without ever cutting you open and like pulls stuff out of your body. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, Andy Kaufman, I know at the end, did some of the alternative treatments for his cancer.
Yeah.
People are
One of them
dying
was one of
because,
those.
yeah, people are dying. Like, they get leeches put on you and things like that. People are dying, though. Like, if you get cancer and a certain type of cancer, and depending on how advanced it is, your chances of living are probably already low. But to just forego traditional treatments, like, there's some people that maybe it would have worked on who
Yeah.
just said, no, I'm not doing that. I'm going to go get this coffee enema. It's like, is that saving your life? And I know there's always stories of a person who does the alternative treatments and they end up living longer than they ever should have. They had 6 months and they lived 10 years.
Well, that's the thing when you're at the end, right? And there are no other avenues, why not try something strange or something that you would consider
Sure.
like a hoax, you know?
But to forego, like,
Yeah.
chemo's, who the fuck wants to do chemo and radiation?
Yeah.
It's not fun. It's not good on your body. It's horrific, but there's at least a proven track record of sorts. Like, I know there's no cure for cancer.
Yeah.
God, I better never fucking get cancer.
I know you're dealing with your friend with cancer.
Yeah, his was a tumor on the lung, so he had lung cancer, and they removed it completely. But some cells spread to a lymph node close by, and apparently they were contained in that lymph node. And the doctor said, with no chemo, it's a 40% chance it never comes back. With chemo, it's a 60% chance it never comes back. And this isn't even dying. It's like it could come back. And if you catch it early enough, I guess you could have another surgery. Now, he's already had some surgeries on his lungs, and you don't want to keep removing lung tissue. So it's not like it's a good thing. You know, even if you had all your lung tissue, you don't want to continue to have surgeries, obviously, where they're
Right.
taking
Especially
pieces
at
of
his
your
age. You don't want to have surgery.
Yeah, but in his instance, it's early enough. It's bad that it's spread to one lymph node, but it's early enough where it's like, okay, it's there, it's contained. There is no active tumor at this moment. You do the chemo. I know 40% chance of it coming back is still, big odds. Would you, if somebody said, jump off this bridge into the water below, 60% chance you live, 40% chance you die? It's like, I don't know if those are odds I want to play with.
It's just so crazy. You're right. Like, I hope that never happens. You gotta this isn't the only answer, but you've got to stay moving. You gotta keep living. You gotta keep moving. You can't just stop. I
Well,
really feel like that's so much of where that stuff comes from. And besides just like biological factors, like lots of choices, I guess, that you've made.
well, with lung cancer, it's strange. He hadn't smoked in
I know there's always that way. I
over a
saw
decade.
somebody talk about when they were speaking to their doctor about cancer because they had a double mastectomy. And she was like, what's the common thread that you see between all of your cancer patients? And they're like, nothing. Like, people that smoke their whole lives don't get cancer, and someone who's never smoked gets lung cancer. Yeah, they said, I think they said, you know who does live? The assholes. The assholes seem to live forever.
Yes, it does seem to be true.
Mm-hmm.
The people who have no right still being alive. It's like, what
Yeah.
the fuck? Why
Why
are you
are you
still here?
You're such a jerk.
Maybe there's something about that mindset.
Maybe.
The mind is a powerful entity. You,
Oh,
you can heal yourself just by thinking about healing yourself.
there you go. Now we're back in this guy's thing.
You can manifest it. Gary fucking Knoll. If he hears this, he's going to sue me.
You think so?
He's the kind of guy who would buy trophies, put them on display,
Really?
fake awards that he had won for his documentaries or his work.
Whoa, really?
Yeah.
Oh, man. That is wild.
Knoll is hostile to evidence-based medicine. And he has accused the medical community of being in cabal with the pharmaceutical industry. Now, he's not necessarily wrong.
Sure.
That's where you get people. You're like, yeah, you're right, but you're right about that, but you aren't right yourself about what you think.
Right.
What you think cures things.
It's really hard when someone that you don't respect and suspect of being a quack says something that you're like, oh, shoot, that seems right, though. You have to remind yourself, like, no, it's bad. It's still bad. It's wrong. He's wrong.
Well, people like
The
to
end.
think black and white terms. It's like, oh, it's either
Yeah,
or.
well, it's so much easier than having subtlety and, oh boy.
See, this says that he suppresses traditional treatments for novel treatments.
Yeah.
And that's all for economic gain. The dude apparently
It
had
is.
money. He looks like the devil robot from Futurama. To me, that's what he looks like. If you go to
Gary
his
Knoll?
if you go to his Wikipedia page.
Is it KN?
No, just Null.
Oh, like
Null.
null and
Null
void.
and void. It's very fitting.
The new vegetarian cookbook. Oh my God. It's like someone pinched his face in.
Yeah.
Oh God.
And that was 2009.
Oh man. He looks like a lizard snake. Did he have a facelift?
I'm sure that he's had plastic surgery, yes.
Yeah.
He was very vain. When we were shooting him, and he was very fucking vain.
Yeah, I can see that.
It was insane.
Just by looking at him.
Like you'd get really good takes, and he'd say, "Let me see that." And like, no, we're doing it again, because he didn't like the way he looked, or the wind was blowing his hair, or the angle,
Yeah.
or the way the sun was hitting his face.
Wow.
So, anyway, his Wikipedia's gotten a lot longer than it used to be.
Has he done something new?
No, he used to fight this, and he would sue the people who he was suing Wikipedia, and he was suing the people who would make the changes on Wikipedia. I don't know if you can get their personal information.
How do you do that?
I don't know. Just one of these people. He's like, I'm just gonna. I don't know how he had all this fucking money.
Yeah.
He lived in a high rise across the street from the office on the upper West Side, but he also had a Florida compound, and they had a Texas compound, and they called.
Well, he's been
compounds.
around for so long. It looks like since the 70s he's been doing this.
Yeah, and he made a real career of it.
Yeah.
There was one point his own supplements poisoned him. Like there was a bad batch of supplements. I can't remember what if it was a vitamin or something. There was too much vitamin something in it, and he was also taking it. So he got sick and he sued. In essence, he sued his own Now he sued the company making the vitamins,
Okay.
but they were branded with his name and face. That was pretty funny. He was suing.
Oh, man.
He was
What
suing
is
his
this
own
guy? What a
vitamin company.
creep. That sucks.
Hey, he
sucks.
paid me $20 an hour to run the board for his stupid internet radio station, and $40 an hour to shoot his videos.
Mm,
I was at a point in my life where I was laid off at the radio station. I was like, all right,
right.
give me some work.
Was he difficult to work with, or was he
No, he's very
decent?
difficult. He's a
Yeah.
nasty person.
Yeah.
Not a nice guy.
Well, that makes sense.
And then he accused me of stealing these microphones. I know who stole them.
Oh.
It was that Jason guy who went to jail for selling meth. Like, there was a lot of stuff going on at this place. That Jason guy who I used to work with at the radio station went and got the job at Gary Knowles after he got laid off from the radio station because he let the station go to dead air in the middle of the night. And cameras showed that he had a woman come in and they were having sex, and this woman wasn't his wife. That aside, even if it was his wife, he's going to be fired because he's supposed to be working. So the station goes to dead air. He gets fired. He goes to Gary Knowles. A few months later, the radio station is sold. We're laid off. I reach out to him. He gets me a job there. I actually had been doing some shooting work there while I was still at the radio station, so there was some crossover. But then I started working there on a more regular basis. And yeah, that's how I ended up. Whatever. Yeah. Anyway, that guy stole these microphones.
This guy sucks.
Gary was building
more pictures of him. He's crazy looking.
Gary was building a new studio, and
no more diabetes.
A bunch of these Electro Voice RE20 microphones went missing.
Oh,
and there was a video because he had security cameras throughout his building. There was a feed of me going through the box where the microphones were, but I also knew he had these security cameras. So before I went out, opened my bag and showed there was nothing in my bag.
Wow.
But he just ignored that part because he saw me going through the box and he got it in his head that I had stolen the microphones, and he called me with his lawyer on the phone and threatened to press charges if I didn't bring them back. And I said, go.
Even though it was on the thing that you showed, how would the lawyer even do that?
Because the lawyer was this guy who knew was probably wrong. The lawyer was just sitting there. Like, he probably knew that there was no case against me because there was no evidence.
Yeah.
There was evidence to the contrary that I stole things. And what ended up happening was the meth dude.
Yeah.
Because where all his security cameras, Gary Knowles security cameras, funneled into one room that wasn't locked, and you could just go you could just go turn them off. And so this guy figured that out.
But wasn't there a record of it being turned off?
Yeah, but once it's turned off, and it was like kept off for, I think he kept it off for days so they could pretend there was an outage or some shit. You have no proof.
Wow.
So here's what it turned into. This is what he said, because I brought up the camera thing. I said, you saw me show my, he's like, yeah, I did, but you knew where they were. And then there was an outage with the cameras. So then he tried to pin it on me.
That would be a real stupid way of trying to steal something, is to like go in, not steal them, show the camera your empty bag, and then whenever time later, turning off the cameras. Do you know what I mean? It's like why would you make yourself?
On his mind, that's what you would do. You were trying to save
but that's the sneaky. That's a bad sneaky way to be. Like, he's not even good at being sneaky. Do you know what I mean? Like, that's not how people's minds work.
Meth guy also stole from Gary Knoll, had a grocery store a few blocks away, and we were allowed to go get like a certain dollar amount of food every day.
Okay.
Because there was like pre-made stuff, and
sure,
like, go
he was
get
like
your
feeding
lunch.
you.
Yeah, and that guy used to, in the middle of the summer, he'd be wearing a big winter coat. It's like, why? It's like, oh, because you're shoving a bunch of food in it, stealing.
Oh.
And he got caught doing that. And it's like the fact he didn't put it together that the mics probably were stolen by.
Okay. Yeah, this guy who does meth.
Yeah, sure. Sure,
And who
Gary.
steals with a big trench coat? It's dumb.
Oh, it was a big winter coat, not a trench coat. It was
Oh, sorry,
puffy.
big winter coat. But still, in the middle
puffy.
of summer.
I know.
Drugs make you do stupid shit like that.
Yeah, you do stupid shit like, hey, my electricity's out. Can you please help me? And it's like, oh, fuck, you do have a little kid and a wife. Okay,
Ugh.
here's some money. He's like, thanks, I'll pay you back. And then you get your next paycheck at Gary Knowles and there's extra money tacked on. You're like, what is this? And he says, that's me paying you back. I added hours to your time card. He's like, what the fuck? It's
What?
like, don't get me involved in this illegal shit. Stop it.
But that wasn't him paying you back. That was Gary paying you back.
I know. That's what I also said. It's like, it's not you paying me
this guy
back.
Sucks.
But because
Man, you worked with some fucked up people. These two suck.
because
Holy
you have
shit.
the ability to modify my time card
Yeah.
and you added hours on. That's you doing that, but that's not you paying me back.
No, that is not what that is. It's really
It
funny.
was a bad look. It wasn't the greatest time of my life.
No.
I was just
But look at you now.
I was just trying to. Where I am now is through Gary Knoll, though, which you can trace back to Jason.
Oh, yeah?
This is the meth guy. Because if I hadn't met Jason, despite the negative things that came out of that, I wouldn't have worked at Gary Knowles. And if I didn't work at Gary Knowles, I wouldn't have met Casey, because Casey was
Okay.
there just as a guy who needed some work and hated Gary Knowles too. But he was there for like a year. And he's the one who put me in contact with Marshall, who was the guy who hired me to work at my last job at Sanborn. And through Sanborn is where I met the people who hired me at Group 9. And then Group 9 merged with Vox. So if I had never worked at Gary Knowles, I would not be
Okay.
where I am now.
Oh, you know, I was going to say swinging doors, but what do I mean? Sliding doors.
But it's true. Like there are a few people in my life I can look back on. I'm like, you
Yeah.
had outsized influence, like the connections or the places that I went, people I met because of you. Like there's 3 people like that. Jason Sadley's one of them. My friend Courtney is another one, because through her I have a lot of friendships, and I work with her brother to this day. Like I hired him. My friend Lee, who's one of my good friends, I met through Courtney. And what was the third one?
Is it not Eric?
No. Nothing's really branched out of knowing Eric other than doing the radio show.
True. Yeah.
But Eric hasn't been. Oh, the other one was me reaching out to the Greta Garbo sound design person on Craigslist, where she was doing her one-woman Greta Garbo show, and she needed someone to do sound design. And through her, I met the guy directing it, who put me in contact with people at the Chain Theater, which I'm still working with. I just went there last night and watched the Eric Bogosian play. And then through them, I also met the Fireside people. So, and I still do the Fireside Mystery Show.
Yeah.
So there's a few instances of, if I hadn't met this person, my life would be
what's
different.
a life, right? Like your life, you do cool things. You do weird things. You do bad things. It all takes you somewhere.
Yes. But there are some people that many branches come out of them.
True.
It's not just like anyone you meet, sure, has some sort of impact. And, you could argue Tim Frazier, if he didn't bring me in as an intern, I wouldn't be
right
at the radio show. And that's a big part of my life too. So,
yeah,
it's easy to look
if I
back
hadn't
and do
quit
this.
my community college, on the very precipice of receiving an associate's degree to go intern for the radio station, I wouldn't be here.
I know, maybe that'd be for the best.
Nah.
You're coming around. You like it?
No.
Yeah.
There are times when it's great, right? And there are times when I feel like it's giving me cancer.
Do you like it?
Because it's constant negativity. And also having to shut up when I know something's incorrect, but I can't say anything. That's the stuff that is going to give me cancer. I'm going to blame cancer on the show.
You need a coffee enema.
Yeah, I need to get some CO2. Or no, ozone.
Yeah, O3.
O3, my bad.
I'll hook you up with Null. I'll reach out to him.
Thanks. Yeah, he looks like a cool dude.
Yeah, I'm sure he'd love to help you.
Yeah. All right, everybody. Thank you so much for listening. We didn't do the intro, but that's okay. Love you. Bye. We never do the intro.